Hi, I'm Mike Khouw. If you're watching this, you already know that fast money and options action are dark while CNBC covers the 2022 Winter Olympics from Beijing. Carter and I will try to provide some bonus content. In the meantime, here's some of the notable options action that we saw today. First, a few names seeing bullish activity. Integrated Electric Utility AES Corp, which typically trades less than 1,000 contracts a day, traded 27,000 calls today, led by nearly 17,000 of the August 23 calls and nearly another 8,000 of the January 2023-27 strike calls. Given the long-dated expirations of these positions, it seems likely they're part of a longer-term bullish investment, but earnings are a near-term catalyst. They report on the 24th. AES is down about 7.5% year-to-date and nearly 17% over the past year. The AZEK company, ticker symbol AZEK, which recently reported and is down more than 30% year-to-date, traded 4 times the average daily call volume, seeing buyers of the March 30 and June 35 calls. Textainer Group Holdings, TGH, reports Thursday, traded 7 times the average daily call volume, including a purchase of more than 1,500 of the May 40 calls. Let's bring in the chart master. Carter, what do the charts look like in TGH?
Well, remarkably, if you were to define an uptrend, if we're writing a textbook and asked in the appendix, please include a good example, that's exactly what this is. So you can see here, pretend you didn't know what it was. It was a commodity, an index. It's up and to the right. It's north by northeast. It's higher, steadily higher. And whenever it gets a little ahead of itself, it pulls back to trend. It has bounced off that trend line to the penny repeatedly. And now, very strong day today. You can see the arrow there. And if you consider where the stock is now, right, it closed at 40.82. Look at this long-term chart. We are approaching, toying with the prospects of breaking out above its former all-time high, which was 9 years ago. That's in February of 2013. And so the day-to-day price action is bullish. The relative strength is impressive. The uptrend's intact, and the level is key. Back to a former high. The presumption is it's going to exceed its high of 9 years ago.
Yeah, Textainer right now is implying a move of about 8.5% after they report earnings. And analysts are pretty bullish on this thing. The average analyst price target is actually 25% higher than where the stock closed today. Another name that reported yesterday where we saw a lot of options activity was Chegg. That is ticker symbol CHGG. That traded more than 8 times the average daily options volume today, including opening activity in the 30 and 35 strike calls. Chegg jumped 16% after they reported. Carter, perhaps you could educate us on what the charts are showing here.
Yeah, so very interesting. Obviously, in the first instance, we're playing for the prospect of a big move post earnings. Here, the earnings are out of the way. So 3 charts. Let's look at the first one very clearly. We know it was a massive epic and resolved head and shoulders top. And what's important, one of 3 things. Look where the stock, after collapsing, has basically found its footing, right at the point from which it began. Meaning, so it's very symmetrical. If you look at the next chart, it's all the same time frame, right? You have this massive move up. Stock goes from essentially 25 to 115, and then goes right back from 115 to 25 and is now bouncing. And the third and final chart just speaks to symmetry. If you see here, the move up was 230 sessions. The move down, 240. That's remarkably similar in terms of days, weeks, hours up, days, weeks, hours, months down, and now bouncing right at its prior low in response to earnings. It's bullish.
Yeah, we saw several of the sell-side analysts that cover the name adjusting their price targets upwards, as they often do. You get the price action first, and then they're simply responding to a kind of knee-jerk there. So we also saw a couple E&P companies, California Resources Corp, CRC, and Denbury, DEN. Both of these companies are going to be reporting earnings on February 24th, and both of them saw significant bearish put activity. And another name that the options market is treating pretty skeptically is Simon Property Group. CEO David Simon said 22 is going to continue to be a transition year like 21 was, but we kicked the crap out of 21. Although call volume did outpace put volume, overall options traders actually got net shorter today. Carter, Simon is telling us things are pretty good, but today it sold off nearly $7 following those results. And the call, what are the charts indicating?
Yes, and so day-to-day action is important, and also relative performance on 1 day, on 5 days, in any time frame. And so 2 charts for Simon. What we know is its 150-day moving average is starting to roll over. So there are 2 ways to measure trend. You can have an automated trend line, that's what a moving average is, or an actual. So if we go to the next chart, maybe we'll toggle back and forth. That's the actual trend line, right? And in days of old, I myself used to take a ruler and draw with pen and paper, and now we have computers. If you go back to the moving average, the first chart, it's another way to do trend because it takes a lot of hours to draw trend lines. The 150-day moving average is now flat and on the cusp of turning down. We have broken the actual trend, and the smoothing mechanism, the 150 moving average, the automated trend line, is also inflecting down.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing for Simon Property Group, this is a mall operator. You still have considerable vacancies. There's a lot of redevelopment that still needs to go on, and a lot of existing tenants still remain in distress. I think they're doing a decent job, but it seems like as much as you could probably hope to get out of it has probably happened already. Finally, a viewer tweeted us a question. Walt asks, what do you think about Nvidia, Carter? I'm rather exposed.
All right, it's good to make bets, right? And now we know what happens when they go wrong. You take measures. But Walt, what we have, and this is one of the great stocks in the market. At one point, I think it was the 6th largest or 7th in the S&P, and it's a 40% sell-off. It made that peak back in late November, I think around 345. It hits a low of 28, and basically, it's recovered back above the 150-day moving average, and that's important. And so my hunch is to stay exposed and good luck.
So, NVIDIA continues to see quite a lot of bullish activity in the options market. I mean, we are seeing calls outpacing puts by about 2-to-1. Carter, thanks for showing us the charts. I'm Mike Khouw. Be sure to follow us on Twitter for more options action bonus content while the Olympics continue to air through the end of next week. Thanks for watching.